Okay, let's move on to the extra point, something that I did in lockdown once and vowed I will never do that again. We're talking shaving heads. Nick Sirianni shaved his head, Brian.
It looked like me in basic training, right?
yeah.
when I was in the military, I mean, I want to say I don't know what Nick Sirianni is thinking, but I think, unfortunately, everyone does know what Nick Sirianni is thinking. He's going a little crazy right now. It might be tougher in Manchester or Liverpool or Birmingham if you're not winning. There's no tougher place in America if you're not winning than Philadelphia. And I love Philly fans, and I've been there for the World Series, and I've been there for the NFL, and I've been there for the NBA. And they have one of the craziest, best, most passionate fan bases in the world. But Philadelphia starts the season, they disappoint. They finished last season disappointed. They have a bye week, and Nick Sirianni, we have all this covered at talkSPORT.com. Nick Sirianni comes back, and he doesn't change up, his clothes. He doesn't say something different. He shaves his head and then gets into it with Philly fans after Philly wins. Very, very odd.
He had to apologize.
And then had to apologize, but also brought his kids on stage for his post-game press conference, which is the biggest symbol of deflection I've ever seen in my life. Like, don't be too hard on me because my cute little kids are here. That doesn't work in Philly. Philly fans will see right through that. So they don't love Sirianni right now. But I don't understand. You got all this going on. The smart thing to do would just be able to keep it all under wraps, look cool even if you're boiling on the inside, even if you're going crazy. He looks like he's a little crazy right now.
So much has changed, I feel like, for the Philadelphia Eagles and
the whole
Nick
vibe
Sirianni
of that
in particular.
team. The whole vibe of that team.
A year and a half ago, they were in the Super Bowl.
They were the best team. I was going to say this when we were talking about the 49ers and the Chiefs. Week 10 last year, the Eagles were the best team in the NFL. You couldn't stop them with the tush push. Jalen Hurts was the MVP, all those things. It has completely gone downhill, and there's no better symbol of that than your head coach deciding the smartest thing you can do when you're in the middle of all this chaos is to shave his head like he's in Full Metal Jacket. That's what Nick Sirianni looks like right now.
Okay, we'll move to the Dallas Cowboys, who got blown out at home to the Detroit Lions, Brian. I don't even know if I have any words about this one, to be honest with you, except let me ask you this question, and let's just keep it at one. You got to answer yes or no.
Yes.
Do we even talk about the Dallas Cowboys? Like, should we even be talking about the Dallas Cowboys now? Are they forgotten? Should we, is that done?
Normally, for any other team, I'd say no. So that is my one-word answer. But it is the Dallas Cowboys, so we have to talk about them because they're so much fun to rip when it goes bad and also to praise when it goes well. It just doesn't go well for this team anymore. And I remember the first episode that we had of the show, I believe that I said that I thought this would be the year that Dallas had no choice but to fire Mike McCarthy. And I think I've said that about 4 times now. I'm sure they could go back into the archives and pull that up. What other proof do we have except that Jerry Jones will finally at some point realize that he has to fire Mike McCarthy? You cannot get blown out like this, not just in the NFL, at home, in front of your home fans. To be 40 plus points, 30 plus points. You're not even in games at halftime. The Cowboys rival the Jaguars for the most disappointing team in the NFL, but at least the Jaguars have a bit of an excuse, right? I mean, you still have some issues. The Jaguars, sorry, Jacksonville, are still always the Jaguars. Dallas should be so much better than this. No other team for me has more chemistry issues, has more commitment issues than the Dallas Cowboys. You can just look at that sideline when they're getting blown out. They have problems. It doesn't look like they're fully into it. It doesn't look like it's a team. Dak's fighting with CeeDee Lamb. Micah Parsons is doing his stupid YouTube stuff, whatever the heck he does. There's nothing to like about this team.
Well, let me stop you there because we've spoken about Mike McCarthy before. It does look like this potentially is going to be the last year anyway, just due to the contract. Their owner is their general manager. At what point?
And the team president, I think.
Okay, all right. It probably makes the tea as well. No, he won't make the tea. How much blame should we put on him? Should Jerry Jones just take a step back and realize I need to pass this on now?
So you sound like me and every good Cowboys fan for the last 5 years. When I was at the Houston Chronicle in Houston, Texas, this is what I was writing. At talkSPORT, this is what I've been writing. It's not because I hate Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones has been, in many ways, great for the NFL. He's one of the greatest owners, in some ways, in NFL history. Jerry Jones is past his prime as an owner, team president, general manager, selling concessions, cleaning up the parking lot, doing everything. But he has too much pride. right? I mean, the last time Jerry Jones won a Super Bowl, I believe it was Barry Switzer, but really that was Jimmy Johnson. And ever since the Jimmy Johnson era, the Cowboys have never been the same. That's now 30 years ago.
But should he now recognize, because he wants another Super Bowl, there's no doubt about that. That's
before he
why
dies, that's a
100%.
fact, yeah.
But should he recognize that if he wants another Super Bowl, in fact, I need to just take the success as an owner and not be the general manager?
So, again, normally, yes, but the Cowboys are the Cowboys, and so it's all so multi-layered and so dramatic and so chaotic. So let's just play this out. Jerry Jones steps down. So then he's going to give it to Stephen Jones, his son.
Well, not even Stephen Jones, let's say he needs to give it to the best person available, and that's not necessarily his son.
So that was going to be my next time in that fall. Yeah. So if you don't do Stephen Jones and you go out and you hire the next bright general manager, let's say they turn it all over. They turn the whole thing over to Bill Belichick, right? Like, you come in and fix. You know what Bill Belichick would do? Bill Belichick would say, well, Dak Prescott is not good enough. He's making too much money, so we need to go ahead and draft a quarterback. Or CeeDee Lamb is good, but not good enough, and he has issues in big games or dropping the ball, and so he's going to be a salary cap guy. Micah Parsons, I can't count on Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons puts in more time on his YouTube show than he does in actually being on the field right now. So somebody who would actually, an analyst, somebody from the outside who is just cutthroat, brutal, how you have to be in the NFL, which Jerry Jones is not, they would say your whole thing is a stinking mess. You need to tear it down. They're one step away from having to do that, because firing Mike McCarthy, as much as it probably should happen, won't fix everything. You have to get into that locker room, and it's just there's a sense of entitlement. And that's the word. There's a sense of entitlement for the Dallas Cowboys to this day, even though they get blown out at home. That doesn't work for any other team in the NFL. And again, to draw the Premier League comparison, they remind me of Manchester United right now. It's like you have that name, you have that legacy, it all sounds great, you sell tickets, you make money, you're not doing anything on the pitch.
But then tearing it up is never going to be an option for the Dallas Cowboys.
And that's why you're right.
You're right.
And that's why they're in the state they are in right now, because they should have fired their head coach a couple years ago, brought somebody in young who could reach these guys, who could actually get maximum commitment. They haven't. Jerry Jones was afraid to do that. He stuck by McCarthy, and I just don't feel like the players believe in Mike McCarthy.
So the thing is nothing is going to happen though.
Because we don't own the Cowboys.
We just know it's going to happen, because not only is it the Dallas Cowboys and they won't want to do that, but they have committed to Dak Prescott. They have committed to CeeDee Lamb. They are going to be with these players for a long time. So
your only answer, and Jerry's not going anywhere, your only answer is to fire your head coach?
Yeah, because you know that the general manager is not going to change. Because
100%.